Okay, it's time to make dinner tonight. I have about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil heating in a pan, and I'm gonna be making a chicken stir fry using quinoa and butter. It's called buttered vegetables. So I'm gonna take 400 grams of cubed chicken breast, and I'm going to start by cooking those in my pan. I like to use wooden spatulas because it keeps my pans nice. You can hear that sizzling really nicely. In a second I'll bring you over here, but I want to show you first while this is starting to cook what kind of vegetables I'm using. So these are called Buttergumüße. So these are just noodles that are not noodles, vegetables that are in the frozen section at Aldi. And I love these because these are great for single servings. Tonight it's just my youngest son and I that are eating. And so I don't need to make a huge meal tonight. So I'm using 400 grams of chicken, which is just under 1 pound of chicken. And then I'm using these butter noodles. This takes about 6 to 10 minutes, or 6 to 8 minutes to cook it. On the other side here, it shows that this is a healthy thing that's good for us, okay? And then as far as your serving sizes, it says per portion, which is 150 grams, which is about half of the box, that it's 153 calories. Now, why is it that many calories? They added butter to this. So it's just a little extra flavoring for when you're doing it. Another thing that I'm using, I keep cooked quinoa in my refrigerator at all times. And the reason for that is because I can throw it into things like sausage balls. If I'm making a stir fry, I can throw it in. And then I have a grain, even though it's technically a seed, that is good and high in fiber, so it can help me kind of feel more full, as well as it's just delicious. I love quinoa. Another thing that I always put in this is from the American commissary, because some things, like we talked about in one of the other videos, you just can't get on the economy. Chicken Alfredos, or Alfredo sauce is one of those things. So I grab a can of Ragu, I use our vegetables, and then I'm gonna cook up this chicken. Once it starts to evenly cook, I'm going to add the vegetables in with it, and they're going to continue to cook for a little bit before I add the Alfredo sauce. And it's going to be right at the end when I add my quinoa in. So I'm going to pause you, and we'll come back when we're a little closer to being done. All right, it's been a few minutes. I'm going to go in and add these buttered vegetables in. When you open the box, they're like this. One thing I love about these German vegetables, you never get like the broccoli cuts. It's always the best, most fresh parts of all of these vegetables. And a little known fact about frozen vegetables, there's been some controversy over the years. I know my grandmother and I used to, have a little bit of an argument, what's better, fresh or frozen? And I used to say definitely fresh. But in all honesty, I'm going to throw a top on this now. In all honesty, the thing that's better for your body is the frozen. And I'm going to tell you why. So part of the reason that frozen vegetables are better for you is because they're picked at their peak ripeness, and then they're frozen right away. Unfortunately, a lot of the vegetables that we get in the stores, they're picked a little too early, so they lose some of that vitamin enrichment that they get if they get to stay on the vine just a little bit longer. So whenever you think about which one is better and you don't have time to eat or cook the fresh vegetables before they go bad, just go with those frozen vegetables. You're going to get great nutrients from it. And as long as you prepare them in the right way, they're going to retain that nutrients. One of the ways that they retain their nutrients is when you are sauteing, when you put the lid on it, that helps to kind of lock in some of those nutrients as well. Steaming is a great way to keep it in. Boiling, not so much. But it's such a great and easy way to add vegetables into your meals without having to worry about if they're ripe and ready. If they're in a frozen bag, they're going to be ready every time. All right, we're beginning to get close. I want to give you a look at what this is looking like in the pan before I add in the quinoa. So there we go. We've got our nice simmering chicken. Our chicken's browning off really nice. But I have to show you our family's very favorite spice. You can get this on the German economy. I recommend getting it at the commissary. This is one of the things that's cheaper at the commissary. So I don't know if you pronounce it kinders or kinders. I don't know. But my kids will eat anything that has this in it. So I'm going to add just a few sprinkles in. and let this continue to settle. I'm also going to add about 1 cup of quinoa to this. Maybe half a cup since I only did the half recipe. Hold on one moment. Okay, so I'm back. I've added the quinoa in. I decided to go on and add a full cup. As I looked at it, it just looked like it could use a little bit more. This is gonna help it be nice and filling. It'll be fiber packed. Quinoa also has a good bit of protein in it. I get my my quinoa at the German markets when I'm out, but I recently went to Paris and went to Costco, so I have a giant thing of quinoa now that is probably gonna take me a good 6 months to get through. Okay, so I've got all of this baking now, or sauteing on the pan. I'm gonna go in and add some of this Alfredo sauce in. I'm gonna do about half the jar to start, just to see. Again, this is a half recipe. I typically do a whole, and so, which is two packages of chicken, 2 packages of vegetables, and a full 2 cups of the quinoa. So I'm looking to see if this is gonna be enough. I think it needs just a touch more. I didn't quite get half of that in there, but that is definitely going to be plenty. You can put this back in the fridge and you can make it another day. This has taken me less than 10 minutes to do this whole meal. And now it is 100% ready to go. Everything is warmed through. The chicken is perfectly cooked.
Where's the lava button?
Come back for the final review. All right, so I finished my meal. I'm getting ready to measure it. When I eat 8 ounces of food and that is it. When I hit 8 ounces on my scale, I stop putting anything on it. Sorry, a little interruption from my kiddo. So I'm going to plate this now. I'm going to do 8 ounces at a time. I'm going to bring it over here. That's probably 5 or 6 ounces. 5.5. I've gotten pretty good at looking and seeing how much 8 ounces is. Nutrition goal, I need to take a little bit off. A nutrition goal, a way to help yourself with portion control, is to measure your food. I typically do 4 ounces of a protein and 4 ounces of a vegetable or carbohydrate. But this comes out so beautifully. You can top it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, whether you want to do the grated kind or the really pretty shredded kind, but it's up to you. Along with this today, I'm going to be serving it with apples at the end for like a dessert for my kids, because they like to feel like they're having a sweet treat at the end of the evening. And so here is what it looks like when it's done on my plate. I'm not a beautiful plater, but look at this. This is 8 ounces of food. And a good pro tip, small plates. Use a small plate. It makes you feel like you're eating more. But I have one more tip. And you're gonna laugh at me for this, but this is my every meal. This is the fork that I use. Smaller fork, smaller bites, less eaten. Oh my gracious. My southern just came out. I said et. But this is a great meal. And it cost, I added it all up, this cost less than $10 for 2 people. And this is a full meal. We'll have leftovers from this. There's no way that the 2 of us are going to be able to eat all of this. So this will be lunch tomorrow for at least one of us. So cheap meal, healthy meal, and it's all bought on the German economy, with the exception of my Ragu Alfredo sauce.